Approval of agenda items. Can I get a motion or anything we need to?
I move it. We approve agenda items as written.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor by show of hands? Unanimous. Approval of minutes, August 5th, 2024, emergency council meeting. We need to do this separately. Any adjustments or corrections on August 5th?
I have a question, please. Concerning this was what we call an emergency meeting, and in that emergency meeting, was this not also an ordinance for a 60-day notice, a 60-day, this, when we did this, was this a 60-day plan that we put in place? Right, right. But did we have a specific number of days in that declaration? Was it 60 days? I didn't see it in minutes, I just wanted to be sure that was 60 days. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we receive and adopt our minutes for our August 5th emergency call meeting.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Okay, gotcha. August 20th, 2024, regular council meeting. Any corrections? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Unanimous, thank you. Recognition of citizen before council, we have one person, Mr. Bobby Parnell. Bobby? How you doing, man?
How y'all doing?
Okay. Go ahead to the podium. You will draw a diagram. You only got 3 minutes now, but go ahead. No, sir.
Well, I'm trying to get this back to see. Well, make a long story short, this is concerning Avenue Road to Christian Road. We have water flow. When a storm comes, water comes to the back of our house. It happened up to my second step. I talked with the county people twice. One person came out to observe, talked to the state twice. And when we found out what's happening, there's a drain from the field that's coming under the road, coming through the neighborhood. We got one drain in that whole neighborhood to clear all that water. We don't have a drain on the back road. One drain for that whole road, and all the water coming off the farm field. So every time it rains, we get a big flood, and the way the future is now, the storm's supposed to get worse every year. With that water coming from the fields, there's no way we can prevent from being flooded out. So we need somebody to really look at the situation. The thing need to be blocked out from the field. That will cut down tremendous of water. Be blocked out. Sometimes the water drains for 2 days after the rain. And then the grass starts smelling like sewage. So we are very concerned about the community and our houses being flooded out. Basically because most of that water is coming over the field. We would like for y'all to really consider this, and whatever action you got to take it. And God bless. I rest my case.
Thanks, sir.
Sure.
Okay, we got 3 presentations. Mr. Gerard Coachman, Recreation.
Good evening.
Evening.
Just wanted to speak to you guys briefly about what's going on in our recreation department. We are back now with football. We had a total of 129 kids to register with that. The soccer program, we had 193 kids this year. That's a total of 15 teams, or 5 teams with the football program. cheerleaders, we have 74 kids, so we're headed in the right direction. And what we want to do with our football program, we want to continue to grow that and have it like it used to be back in the days, where we have football in each area. That's Clio, and McCall. So we're headed in the right direction. Right now, we had to kind of stop registration, but kids are still calling, trying to register, but we had to cut it off, due to numerous things. So that's headed in the right direction. We had a jamboree this past Saturday, and it was a great success as well. Got a great turnout. We had food vendors, so it was a good success. So in the future, me and Mr. Clyburn was talking about going on the program, adding more sports as far as the track and field. We're looking at that, and we want to do volleyball as well. Something to cater more to the females. So that's where we at right now. Like I said, we're looking forward to the growth, and I hope you have you guys support it. Would you let it know about that Saturday? This past Saturday, January? No, last night. Oh, last night. Oh, yes, sir. Our 10U and 12U, we went down there to the building, and we the 10U won 26-0, and the 12U was 28-0. So I'm sorry about that.
I hope I hope the varsity heard that too. So we'll be going out there to Dillon a couple of weeks with the varsity team. So I hope we have the same results. Yeah, so, but on the cheerleader, you say you got 74 girls. That's great. So do they cheer for the 9, 10, and 11, 12, or you got two different divisions? And flag too. Okay, great.
Mr. Coachman, are you looking at any of hiring any kind of female staff to cater to those female programs?
Yes, sir. Most definitely. That's the goal. Once we get those programs in place, most definitely.
Because I'm more concerned with females being over females.
Most definitely.
They understand that. That's fine.
That's great. I know it's a big relief that our program is back on board, and I know that Coach Johnson, the high school coach, he told me he was out there Saturday to make sure that everything went good at the high school with the field and everything. So I hope y'all continue to work together.
Yes, we got great support with them. Actually, the week there with their bye week, we got a coaches clinic set up with our coaches, so they're gonna go over their system with our coaches.
Great.
The relationship with them is
Good communication. Anybody have any question for Mr. Coachman?
The kids are very, very excited. I've spoken to a lot of them. They're glad to be back. Travel ball was good, but everybody couldn't afford that travel ball, and so a lot of those kids who are playing rec are appreciative of the county really and truly reinstating those programs, especially in those local areas, and making sure that they're connecting. So we appreciate the work that's being done in our recreation department. We understand that our recreation feed up into our middle school sports and our high school sports, and the success of those sports is really dependent upon what we do in our recreation program. So we appreciate the work that you're doing and starting out.
Also, we have in the present a legendary recreation coach, Mr. Bobby Purnell. He has affected thousands and thousands of youth here in Marlboro County. I'm sure you know him, Mr. Coach.
50 years.
50 years.
But who comes, right?
Yeah, and he's still willing to help if we need him. So let's try to utilize that experience.
Okay. Thank you, sir. If there's no more questions, Mr. Coachman, we appreciate it. I know you got to get back to the JOB. Ms. Thompson. Election Commission.
Good evening. Members of council, Administrator Clyburn, thank you for giving me just a few moments to say thank you for our new building. We are really enjoying the class building. Myself, staff, my election boards here are so excited and pleased with all the work that went into it. We now have the space for our voting equipment that we have always needed, so we are very appreciative of that. Homeland Security and the State Election Commission were pleased as well with the fixes that were done to the building. Administrator Clyburn, thank you for helping get all this together. You said we would be in by September 1st, and we got in by September 1st. We've also been talking about doing a soft opening for the office. With all these dates going on right now, I told him it had to be, we'll be getting together, and pinning something down at the end of this month. And we'll let you all know that day. We've been talking together about doing some media or advertising prior to early voting starting on October 21st to get the word out a little more about where we are. So far, the public has been finding us just fine. We still have a few things that need done as far as handicap parking, accessibility, some signage, but I've been collaborating with Mr. Clyburn on that as well. Everything went well. We moved in 3 weeks ago today. I want to thank D.T. Turner and his staff, along with Steve Kohler, the IT director. They got everything done for us. We didn't hardly have to lift a finger. The last day of the move, we were only down about 3 hours. So everything got reconnected really fast. I just want to quickly mention that September is voter education month. We are seeing a slight increase in voter registration numbers. There's different groups doing drives. Right now, we're at 15,164 active registered voters. The town of Wyndham special election will be next Tuesday at Wyndham Town Hall. Voter registration deadlines for the general election is going to be October 4th in person, October 6th online, and October 7th by mail. It will need to be postmarked by then. The State Election Commission has started posting the sample ballots online for every voter in the state, and we also have some at our office if you want to like any. Early voting for the general election begins October 21st through November 2nd. It will be held at the courthouse from 8:30 to 6, and that it will be Monday through Saturday, 2 weeks. We're planning, we're looking ahead, so we're really glad to have this move behind us. And if you all have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Ms. Thompson, thank you, and I attended your election commission meeting. Thank you so very much for that, because those meetings are public, but thank you so much. One point you did elaborate on as far as the number of active voters, is that not a decrease from 2020 election?
Yes, 2020, we had about 18,000 registered here.
Right. And so we've lost about 3,000
Yeah, for different
for
reasons.
different reasons. I know.
Yeah, inactive, convictions, moved, just a lot of different reasons.
Right, but I do, I like the fact that you're on this meeting now, so this meeting is broadcast. The good thing for people to know is where that office is open, that they can come in that office if they need to change your address or things like that. Can you elaborate on that, please? Because some people have changed their address.
Yes, they can change their address up to about 3 to 2 weeks prior to election, depending on when our books are printed. You come in our office, it takes 5 minutes. Just bring your ID, proof of mail, and you can do that. You can also do it on scvotes.gov as well, and we get it electronically.
Okay. Thank you, and we look forward to the soft drop-in or whatever it's going to be, because I think that's an opportunity for the county, for the community to be involved in that. So thank you so much.
Christie, I just want to point out the early voting. There's 6 days that first week and 6 days the second week. So people that do work can vote on Saturday from 8:30 to 6, both Saturdays, 2 weeks before the election.
That's right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Lynn McQueen, how you doing?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, thank y'all for having me. I wanted to tell you about something that's really exciting that we have coming up at the museum. We are going to be hosting a Smithsonian exhibit from September 21st through November 2nd. I have invitations for y'all to the grand opening and ribbon cutting, which is going to be done September 21st at 10 o'clock. I've got y'all some other information. I don't know if it's appropriate to hand stuff out to you, but I wanted to show you this show you that we are one of 6 places in South Carolina that is getting this exhibit. This is us, all the others are over here. So everybody from about the middle of the state, all up in North Carolina, if they want to see this exhibit, they're gonna have to come here to see it. So that's kind of a big deal. If y'all remember, probably in February of last year, you gave me permission to apply for this. The Smithsonian offers traveling exhibits that are really expensive. We could never afford one. But through the collaboration with state humanities councils, they offer these exhibits in a competitive, like a grant process, you know, where we can get it at no cost. So we are getting this exhibit at no cost. We are getting a lot of other support from South Carolina Humanities. I think our grants so far from them total over $5,000. During the time that the exhibit is going to be here, we have to have other like kind of collateral programming at the same time. We're doing local exhibits and we're having speakers come in and contests and different things like that. So there's going to be this whole 6-week period that it's here. It's not just the exhibit, it's a lot of other things that we're doing too through the museum that's going to be for the community. We're having volunteers come in to help me keep it open as much as possible because I'm a one-person department and I can't be in 2 places at once. So Alexa Bone, the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, has kindly stepped up and is managing volunteers for us. So we're going to try our best to have it open every weekday morning for school field trips and other scheduled tours, then every weekday afternoon from 2 until 7 for just the general public to wander in whenever they want to, and also on weekends, because we want as many people as possible to take advantage of it. Not just for the people here in Marlboro County, although that's the main thing, because, you know, a lot of people here, transportation is an issue for a lot of our citizens, and they might otherwise never get to see a Smithsonian exhibit, but now they can see one right here in Dennisville. But also for the surrounding communities, for the surrounding counties, we've already had a call from a senior citizen group in Florence who wants to set up a tour, and the first thing they asked me after they set up the time was, well, where can we eat and what else can we do while we're there? So it could benefit all the local businesses too, to have all this, hopefully all of the storage data come in. So I've got your invitations here. I've got some more information if you'd like to see more about it. But we would love to have all of y'all come on September 21st to the grand opening ribbon cutting. I've also been talking to Mr. Kleiner about maybe setting up a day or an evening when y'all could come together and see it. And there's like a little card game that goes along with it that's supposed to get people thinking about how they can improve their own communities. Because I forgot to tell you that the topic is called Spark Places of Innovation. And it's all about how small, struggling, rural communities just like ours have come up with innovative ways to lift themselves up and improve their communities. So, and kind of part of what they hope to do is get the host communities thinking about how maybe they can be inspired by the exhibit to do things to improve things, you know, here. So, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, but otherwise I would love for you all to be there for the ribbon cutting.
Can community people volunteer?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
You can contact me or you can contact Alexa directly, but if you want to contact me, I can send the information along to her.
I'm just saying it because just in case somebody from the
Yes,
community is
absolutely.
listening, they can volunteer.
Yeah, just call me, and I can, if anyone wants to volunteer, I can.
Can you say the number?
My phone number is 843-479-5624.
5624. Just in case someone do.
Absolutely.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's enough.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, we will open up the public hearing. Ordinance number 852. An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement by and between Marlboro County, South Carolina, and Project Pinky Promise to provide for payment of a fee in lieu of taxes, authorizing certain infrastructure credit and other related matters. Any questions from the public? Mr. Clyburn, you need to say anything on this?
This is just, one of our projects that we require expansion, and this is the public hearing portion. We still have to go through, the third reading, but this is just the public hearing portion. If anyone has any, questions, they can ask about that.
Okay. Not hearing none, we move on to the next ordinance. Ordinance number 853, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement by and between Marlboro County, South Carolina, and Project Pound Cake to provide for payment of fee in lieu of taxes, authorizing certain infrastructure credits, and other related matters.
Again, this is, one of our expansions, so we just have a public hearing here, and we better go through the third reading.
Gotcha. Okay. Not hearing nothing from the public, hearing, we close the public hearing. Old business, ordinance number 852, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement by and between Marlboro County, South Carolina, and Project Pinky Promise to provide for payment of fee in lieu of taxes, authorizing certain infrastructure credits, and other related matters. Third reading.
Our economic development plans have asked that we table this one, to the next meeting, just work out some different details, but we need to go ahead and take it out.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm second.
Okay, we have a motion and second to table, ordinance number 852. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor to table this? Okay, we got, 6, we got 7. Those opposed? Okay. And those abstain? Okay, we got 1 abstain? Okay. Ordinance number 853, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement by and between Marlboro County, South Carolina, and Project Pound Cake to provide for payment of fee in lieu of taxes, authorize certain infrastructure credits, and other related matters. Third reading.
Again, this is one of our expansions, and this is the third reading for that.
Okay, everything is in place?
Everything's in place.
Okay. Good.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 853.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor? Ordinance 853? Those opposed? Those abstain? Unanimous. All right, C, authorize the reallocation of the funds for the Broad Street project, Boardwalk project, and excess of golf course renovation fund for the Aquatic Center, Project Center, in a proper amount of $1,090,000 as follows. Broad Street project, $350,000, Broad Walk project, $340,000, and golf course renovation excess funds.
So with this, section of the agenda, that's not actually the motion itself, but the numbers are different. And the reason numbers are different is because things change every day. We met with Eric Dusa, and then, I spoke with Wes, and that's why we submitted this current available funds. This is a lot more clear of what we're asking, and a lot more clear of what, we already have,
Okay.
and what will be the total reallocation.
You gonna need a motion for reallocation?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we authorize the reallocation of the funds from the Broad Street project in the amount of $350,000, from the Boardwalk project for the amount of $340,000, and from the excess of the golf course capital fund in the amount of $285,000, for a total amount of $975,000, under the condition that any excess funds will be returned to the golf course capital fund.
Second.
Okay,
Discussion.
discussion? Go ahead.
There's a lot of things, as the chairman has said, have changed since the last meeting. Number one, we're looking at $2.4 million for this pool, diverting all these funds to projects that we've already agreed on. I did some research on pools close to us. In Darlington County, is the closest county to us, about 40 miles. They closed their pool down 4 years ago. They had 2 fatalities, 14-year-old child and a 10-year-old child. But I've been in linked discussions with the administration over there last week and this week. The pool was always an issue as far as staffing. And they, like I said, they closed it down 4 years ago. They were never open no more than from when school closes in June to when school opens back up in September. A period of somewhere between two and a half months and possibly 3 months. But the staffing was a problem constantly. Some days they would have a few people swim, some days they wouldn't, but they still had to have it fully staffed. The figure they gave me was they still had to account for about $40,000 to $50,000 in funds to pay people because they had to keep them working. But there's a lot more to this project than just building a pool. We haven't talked about, I have a pool and I know how much chemicals cost for a small pool that I have. Chemicals are probably in the thousands. You probably got to have a contractor that's going to have to test the water. Staffing, right now I know it's not, COVID is still prevalent, and even though we sort of are passing on it, I was in the urgent care yesterday and the place was filled with people, all of them being tested for COVID. And that's sort of a side thing, you know, everybody's now, I think we're just operating and working whether we got COVID or not. But you know, there's a lot to this project than just building this pool, and Darling County is the best. I've got more information from them. They just said it will never be open again. It's too much of a liability. They tried a partnership with the county of Darlington. It lasted a little while, but they still ran into the same problems, and the administrator in Darlington finally pulled out because it was just too big of a liability, particularly after the 2 children drowned. They did another partnership with the city of Darlington Police, and that didn't last no time before the police decided they couldn't do it either. But you know, this project, granted, I know we've got to commit this money, I think, Wes, before the end of the year, part of it.
Well, we need to have the project completed by December 25 for the portion that was provided by PRT from the state legislature.
So the project's got to be completed by 2025, end of 2025. But we don't have to have a commitment between now and December 31st, right?
No. But the ARPA funds require the commitment prior to December 31. So there's 2 components to this. We've got the ARPA and then we've got the legislative delegation.
So the ARPA is about $325,000. Is that about right?
Yeah, let's see. Because we've got,
975.
no, that's.
The ARPA is 350 from that.
Broad Street,
50 plus 285. No, well, no, there's more than that.
Boardwalk, and the 385.
Yeah. But, you know, I think this, you know, we really need to look at this thing, you know. I think we want to, whatever we do, we want it to benefit all the citizens of Marlboro County. And I understand the guidelines and the time frame we're under, but there's a lot more to this project than just building a pool. And you got a county like Darling County, which is a neighbor, they have 64,000 people. Marlboro County, from what I read, we have 26,000 people. I think close to 2 to 3 of those are people out in the federal and the state prison. So we're down around 23,000 people. Darling County is 3 times the size of Marlboro County, and they basically, the call last week and said, Bird, we just could not afford it, and we certainly couldn't afford the liability, particularly after 2 children drowned. So I'm just throwing this out there tonight. There's a lot to this thing other than just building a pool with these funds that I think Dr. Johnson said that were just given to us, and they were. But I also think that we should really think this thing through, whether a pool is advantageous to all the citizens of Marlboro County, particularly when counties right around us are phasing out pools. Darling County, first of the spring, they proposed building a $400,000 boardwalk in downtown Darlington. It's a fairly simple project, but not time consuming like a pool is. Well, the project was supposed to, June the 23rd, they were going to open in 2 weeks. Well, that's been put on hold by the code enforcement in Darlington. They are not satisfied with the safety aspects of a splash pad. But a splash pad's around $400,000 is what the city of Darlington has committed. And I'm of the opinion that now, after finding out the cost of everything and the liability, that I think maybe, and Mr. Stroman, he was one of the first ones that was very adamant about us doing a splash pad, something that doesn't carry near the liability that a pool carries and stuff. And I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm in favor of us looking at a splash pad, and I just don't really and truthfully see where we can afford to do a pool now with all this stuff that I found out about it. You know, sure, we got grant money to build a pool with, or maybe close. It may even be more than this by the time we get started with it. But I don't see where we got the funds to maintain it when the county's 3 times the size of Marlboro County. They can't even afford to run a pool, and they closed it 4 years ago, and they told me last weekend that they said it'll never be opened again.
Mr. Odom, I understand what you're saying, but we're smart enough to understand that this takes more than just building a pool. We're very intelligent up here, and we have a capable administrator and capable people. We're talking about a complex. We're not talking about a pool. We're talking about a golf and recreation complex. The pool is a part of the complex. It's not a standalone pool. You know, there was none of these, that liability and everything that we're gonna do, there's gonna be some type of liability that we're gonna have to incur. None of this information was brought, you know, to our attention when golf course was failing all around us. Dillon County closed their golf course. Sherrod closed their golf course. I heard nobody say anything about the liability of us incurring a golf course. We're talking about something that can help improve the quality of life. Of course, there's liability involved in it, but we're smart enough to be able to withstand those liabilities and put measures in place to be able to compensate for those liabilities. We understand that this money has to be allocated. It's something that really and truly can enhance our community, just like the golf course. And so I don't see the reservation for us to put another project on hold because of liability, when there's liability in everything that we're going to be promoting from a county perspective. There's a liability, you know, and I really do think this is a good project, and in time, just like the golf course, you know, just like we're seeing that the golf course is flourishing, in time, I think, along with the other components that we're looking to do for a complex, not just a pool, we're talking about a golf and recreation complex. I think we should move forward with the project that's on hold with the monies reallocated as appropriate.
I remember,
I can ask one question.
Go ahead.
When you talked to the gentleman in Darcy County, did you mention anything about opening of Neptune Island, if that had anything to do with the pool and people that are there and coming to the pool and support the pool?
Is that in Darlington? I mean, that's in Hartsville.
Darcy County, so I mean,
Well, it's still,
it's very close to.
no, the only conversation I had was that there were a lot of other things that kids were doing, and some days they'd have a lot of kids, some days they wouldn't have any. And the big thing, I think, is the liability with it, and the fact, staffing, even yesterday when I was on the phone with her, she said when we first opened up the pool, when everything should have been going good and we had planned on it, staffing was always a problem, getting people to work. And I'm throwing this out there, you know, because like I said, and the big thing, this pool, if we build it, it's gonna be open about 3 months out of the year, and we're gonna spend about $2.4 million on it. That's an awful lot of money.
As soon as you get the floor, I'll get the floor. You still got the floor, Verb? Mr. Odom, you still got the floor?
Rest my case.
Okay. One thing I would want to mention also when we talk about liability, we had Lake Park Wallace. A lot of us been here for a long time. How many people died at Lake Park Wallace? Drowned. Too many. One is too many. You know, when I was on Parks and Recreation, we had people drown at Lake Park Wallace. That was a liability. So if the lake open back up, that's a liability we're gonna have to look at. Like Dr. Johnson said, ours gonna be a liability. You know, when we at Marlboro County citizens, we were building the wellness center, we had 2 or 3 people want to throw rocks at that one and stop that program. Dillon picked it up, and Dillon Wellness Program is flourishing. The same layout that Marlboro County had, because I was part of that committee, I was part of recreation, and we were going to build a wellness committee. Ms. Dixon, she was around, Mr. Ponder was around, and everything was laid out. Then nothing else about pull the plug. You know, we have gone too far, invest too much time and resources to backtrack at the finish line. We can't get at the 1 yard line. We can't punt at the 1 yard line. We got to punch it in. You know, we need to score for our citizens, for the elderly. You know, there's so many things we can do. Mr. McNeil can do that as a drawing tool for other businesses, you know, to come in as a leisure, recreation activities. And like Dr. Johnson said, is a collaboration with the golf course. I could be playing golf and my grandkids could be out there in the pool. So everybody happy, you know? So that's just my 2 cents about it. Also, Mr. Odom, everybody got an opinion, which is great. Anybody else got anything they want to say?
Absolutely. Councilman Odom misspoke for me. I have never advocated for a splash pad. I advocated for a water park, and it got reduced to a splash pad. And that was like a compromise that never was agreed upon by me. This pool that we're coming up with, this is the compromise. We went and we visited the Thomasville site in Thomasville, North Carolina, and we came up with their concept of that in the water park. That's how this came about. It was never meant to be just a water park. When we looked at the funds and everything, our current administrator then, at that time, he broke it down to a $500,000 splash pad. That's where the splash pad came in at. But I do want to say that every time something comes up for the citizens of Marlboro County, there's always somebody that's opposing something for the vast majority of citizens that would be in the African American community. This splash pad, we have never in the African American community, we've never had a public pool where we were allowed to swim or even go there and eat under the picnic table, or around the picnic table. This is something that we're moving on, we're moving forward in Marlboro County, and we're proud of the fact that we can now get beyond that type of thinking and do something for the citizens of Marlboro County. And that's where I stand. Period.
Ms. Lawson?
Of course, I do agree with what all of you said, but I agree for this portion. Every time we get to this council meeting, it was said by someone that seemed like we cannot agree on anything. We get to the meeting and that's it. And people are tired of this. I am in the senior citizen category. I would like something to do other than playing golf. I would like something to do with my grandchildren who are going to be visiting here from Florida. I would like the opportunity that our county can attract the population. So I look forward to this. I was not a part of the 2022 decision. I know that, so I respect what the council before me had done. But since I'm a voting person now, I am in favor of making sure that we give our citizens a quality of life. Some of the things that, because we do not have water in that lake, it's going to be pushed back, and we know that. A lot of things have been pushed back. But I do know that if we can start with that building next to the community center now and start looking at that, you've already done a groundbreaking. How much longer, if we keep postponing, how much longer will something actually go on there? So thank you for this opportunity, but I am for progress. That's what I'll say.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I got, under the PRT money, you said it had to be spent by the end of the year.
December 2025.
What did the pool company say? Because in previous time, they said it would take a year and a half to 2 years to complete a pool. So I mean, if we don't hit it by that, what happens to that $1.1 million? Does it completely go away? Do we have to come up with another $1.1 million to offset it? I mean,
We haven't been in contact.
I told her to look at that.
okay.
Let me answer the question. The pool company, they originally sent it out even back in February when they sent the first estimate. Part of that was a timeline that included putting out the bid in the fourth quarter of this year. The actual building of it would take place right after that bidding, and would still be able to be ready by July of 2025. So we're still on schedule if we continue. If we don't continue, and the bidding goes into the first quarter of next year, now you're looking at putting it up against the end of 2025 for the completion of the project.
Thank you for clearing that up.
So you're saying that the pool company said they would have it built by July, it could swim in it in 6 months, 7 months.
That's what I was told. I'm not a pool builder, but that's what the engineers, when they gave that first initial, it was stated that the timeline was fourth quarter of 2024 to put out the bid, and that could be right now. That could be in October. And then, once it goes out to bid, then it'll be done by July.
What was that? And like I said, I'm not, like I said, I do want to see progress. I want to move forward. You know, what I do want to find out is about the $1.1 million. If we had started in March, whenever, I think the timeline was March, whenever it was here showing, if we'd done that, had design and everything, you could put out bid by fourth quarter. And so the question is, if we don't complete it by December 31st, 2025, what happens to the 1.1 million? The others, that's ours. But what happens to the other $1.1 million of park money if we don't spend it by December? Moving forward is one thing, but before we would actually say build the pool, we'd have to know all these details. I mean, everything would have to be worked out. So, I would want to know for sure, because if the money went away in December 2025 and we did not do it, where would we come up with another $1.1 million? That's the only, that's the question that we would need to ask. That does not change reallocating of funds. That just, just to move forward that's a whole lot of money that we've got to. Somebody's got to, if we want to build it, we want to make sure we can pay for it. We don't want to if they say, no, you're going to go into January or February the following year, where's the other $1.1 million? And we only have 1.2 to build a $2.4 million pool.
But you're saying that they've concluded that if the bids go out now, by July, the project will be complete, so we won't have to worry about December and the money going back anywhere.
Bids can't go out now. For construction, we got to design the pool. All that stuff has to take place.
Well, now, what they sent, you got what they sent.
That's conceptual.
Right. They sent conceptual. Now, I'm under the impression that they have that pretty much done, because they already had the design for the large one. And when we told them to go back to something a little bit smaller, then they came up with this. But I'm not sure that, you're saying that it'll take a few months, but I'm not under the impression it'll take that long to get that done and get out the bid, because they're just waiting on us to get out the bid.
We do know that long we wait, the longer it will take, but we know as pool people that build pool, that's what they do.
But what I'm asking is, and this is not, we can't find this information today, is if we move forward building a pool and we don't have it completed by December, whatever the hiccup is, who's going to come up with the 1.1 million? So if we move forward, before we build a pool, we need to make sure we can pay for it. The good book says consider the cost before you do it. That's what we have to do with all of it. The reallocating of the funds, how was the motion worded? I mean, if something fell back, we can't reallocate the funds again, correct? How was the motion worded? Can somebody read the motion back there?
Any overage, that will go back to the excess fund. But if they're telling us that if we get this process completed, it goes out to bid, they've assured us that the project will be complete in July 2025, which gives us a reprieve from that December date. So why are we almost pushing them to the brink of it not being completed by us holding the project up? They're not holding the project up. We're holding the project up. If it was the other way around, it'd be something totally different. But we're the ones now who's holding the project up, not the company who we've engaged to build the pool.
Correct, and I'm not saying that. The question is, if we don't hit the time frame, what happens to the other money? How will we come up with the other 1.1 million?
Only reason I see us not hitting the time frame if we continue to hold the process up.
Well, maybe there was a whole lot taking place. We approved the moving forward this company. In this book here, there's a March the 4th is when the first, April the 12th, I think, was the original thing. So we come back in September is when they started doing conceptual drawings. So conceptual drawings is for construction. It still takes a long time to build to design what you want. So a conceptual drawing still could take 3 months of design to actually get us to approve the actual building.
But as long as we continue to hold the project up, it continues to move towards that deadline of not being completed by December 2025. We're holding the project up. If the company has sent us the conceptual design, they've sent us, the cost measurements, they sent us every single thing. We have a proposal right now in front of us to reallocate the money. We're holding the project up. They're not holding us up.
Do you know professional pool builders? That's what they do. If you got a contractor who build houses and you say, look, I want to make a 4-bedroom, 2-story house. When can you have it done? I can have it done for you in 8 months. That's what they do. And we could tell them when we make the decision, look, this is our bottom line. The bottom line is everything got to be done and completed through rain, sleet, or snow by X amount of day. And when any contractors that we all have dealt with contractors, when they got a timeline, and we say, well, if you don't meet the timeline, X amount of dollars will be deducted from your pay or from your check. They're gonna make sure it get done. We all seen it before, and like I said, we cannot. As long as we wait, the law you gonna take. Just simple as that.
Let's say we get to that point where we're moving into December. Who to say we can't, the money that's already allocated for ARPA, that money can already be transferred over to that company, and we still have the money that's ours that we haven't spent yet because the project isn't complete, and we have that contingency money to complete the project. So I think either way,
we still have a 1.1 million part of it.
that's what I'm saying. Let's say it's getting into December and the project is not complete. The money that's allocated towards the ARPA money, that money could be already used as what it's supposed to be used for, because it's going toward that project. And let's say the project is not complete until February. We have the money that we've allocated for Marlboro County, for myself, not the ARPA money. The ARPA money has already been spent on construction of the parking lot or construction of this, piece right here. We've already allocated that amount of money, and we still have the contingency, even if it's not done by December. We've paid them with the ARPA money, and we still have that money that's allocated, that we've allocated from our own, that's not affected by that December 2025 timeline.
Mr. Midley.
Mr. Clyburn, do you feel confident that you're the only one that's really talked to the pool company?
I'll talk with them.
And you feel confident you can get this done?
Well, they know that the deadline or that the date we're looking for is going to be the summer coming up, summer 2025. Now, as Mrs. Stinney said, things do happen, but to go from that and a delay of 6 months, I just don't foresee that in any realm that it would be finished by December of 2025, when their target is July of 2025. And again, they were looking to do everything from us and get bidding in the fourth quarter of this year in order to make it happen.
So you and your staff would make it the top priority to get this thing?
Yeah. I'm not a pool builder, but yeah, we're going to make sure that everything gets to them. And I talk with them. I'm going to say quite frequently. I talk to them when I need to push them to make sure they get things out. But as far as getting the bidding started, that's something I did speak with them about, and they said that they would get that started. Just waiting on us to start that process. Now, start that process, I don't know what that means. I do know that they're going to start that process as soon as we approve to move forward.
To start the process will be to design the pool.
Well,
I am a general contractor,
right,
so
sure
I don't build pools, but yeah, they give us conceptual drawings.
Right, I'm
That's
saying,
yeah.
I'm not sure they haven't already started doing it with the design. Not the design, with the drawings and everything. I'm not sure they haven't started that. But what I am saying is that they know the timeline. That's part of what we contracted in the very beginning. And for them to start, for us to give them approval to start the bidding process in the fourth quarter of this year is part of it having to be done by July 1st. And that's from the contract.
And I like everybody to keep in mind that we're still spending ARPA funds on the golf course. So what are we saying? If we don't spend now, if we don't get all projects completed at the golf course, you understand what I'm saying? So we're not worried about anything that's happening at the golf course. But when it comes to this pool, now we got to all of a sudden worry about $1.4 million. And like Dr. Johnson said, let's spend the ARPA money first. And then what's left is our money. So if it does go over into the next fiscal year, that's our money we're spending. We would have already spent the ARPA funds.
Can you
And
spend
that's
the
just
money
a
like that?
no-brainer.
I mean, can you
Have you
do
ever-
that?
It doesn't say the project has to be completed, the money has to be spent.
The money has to be spent.
Right.
And
Right.
so one of the things is obviously legislative delegation funding should have priority on spending because the ARPA funding can actually be spent in 2026.
Okay.
So we've got, we had to shift some things around in order to meet the spending requirement. We would use the funding from legislative delegation first, ARPA second, because we've already allocated the funds for ARPA. ARPA doesn't have to be spent until December of 26.
And one thing I need to point out, in March, Mr. Park and I said he got on that meeting, I don't know, but I know for a fact there was a meeting to say that 2024 is where we have to commit to our funding. Commit. So we're committing, but it has all the way up to 2026 for these funds to be spent. But this year is the only year, by December 31st, we have to commit what projects we're going to be using.
Now, we say 2026.
Is spending for ARPA.
By what date?
December
December
31st.
31.
That's what we said before.
So there's no 2025 deadline.
No, it's no 2025.
The PRT. Okay.
Right, and that's what was
That's
going when I was answering.
legislative delegation.
It's 26.
It's 2026.
All right. Now, here, I think we got everything cleared up now. The motion has been read, it's been seconded. Go ahead, hold on, Mr. Black.
With the boardwalk. That's the only thing I got any reservations about, as far as if we go ahead with, and I see the letter they just sent, but they got a lot of work in it too. That's all. I hate to pull out on somebody when they already got engineers involved and stuff like that. I mean, that's my concern.
Right, and I understand that concern. When I talked with him, I talked with that link today, and it was a total of 21,000. Like 21,000 that they had spent, which we already took out. That's why it's 340 instead of 350, because we did pay for that. But let's keep in mind, I don't think anyone here is suggesting that we kill the boardwalk project. We have at least another 3 summers before that lake is filled, okay? And so, and we were told that it's best done before the lake is filled. So we have not only this year, but next year and the year after to get funds back into that project. And what we talked about, when I talked with Mr. Blair, is that he was very willing to, in his words, extend the olive branch of unity because, he recognized, like a lot of people in this community, that everything seems to get voted along certain lines. And we need to extend some unity. And I would ask the council, those who are in favor of reallocating the money from the boardwalk, if we're gonna do that, then we should at least commit to re-reallocating the money back or putting some money back into the boardwalk project. Especially if we have excess funds or when we get some more funding coming in. I don't think we should even think about just killing that project. If he's willingly saying, hey, use that money for the betterment of the community, since he does have time, then we should actually extend that back to him and say, hey, you do that for us, without any kind of fuss or whatever, then back to you, we'll reallocate that money back to the boardwalk project. I think that's fair to do that. And so I'm asking the council, just after having spoken to him, hey, if he's willing to do that and not really, have an issue with it, then we should be willing to get that money back.
If there's money left over.
If there's money left over.
over.
And once we get other funding for different sources, we should work to put that money back into that. And I agree with that.
Well, I don't have no problem with that either, but then I think we need to, like I say, just make sure we stay focused on one thing And after it get built, and if there are any money left, we gonna meet every month anyway. So, we got attack that, situation at that time. Do we need to read the motion?
Yes.
I already
Oh.
have a second.
Yeah.
Reread the motion.
Yeah, you second the motion?
Well, reread it.
Reread it, let's reread it for, clarity. Go ahead,
Make a
sir.
motion that we authorize the reallocation of funds from the Broad Street project in the amount of $350,000, from the Boardwalk project in the amount of $340,000, and from the excess of the golf course capital funds in the amount of $285,000, for a total amount of $975,000, under the condition that any excess funds will be returned to the golf course capital fund.
Okay. Okay, motion been made and second. We had discussion. All in favor, show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, those opposed? 2 opposed. Okay. Okay. New business. Ordinance number 857, an ordinance to amend the agreement of development of a multi-county industrial and business park by and between Darlington County and Marlboro County, South Carolina, providing for the development of a joint-owned and operated industrial business park so to include additional property in Darlington County and Marlboro County as part of the joint county industrial park and other matter related thereto. First reading, title only.
So this is our, what we can do. We have a lot of projects coming into potentially the industrial park here in Marlboro County. And also other land pieces in Marlboro County. And we want to do an extension of the part that we do with Darlington. Anytime we do a field agreement, we have to include neighboring county. And it's usually Darlington County, give them 1% in order to make that multi-county industrial park. So we're asking that we just go ahead and approve that for the entire Marlboro County Industrial Park, as well as some other properties to be determined by the next reading. So that we won't have to keep every project. We do, we have to do the hearings, we have to do the field agreement, and then we have to come back and do the multi-county industrial park. If we place those properties in the multi-county industrial park now, we don't have to worry about doing that each and every time. That's just about it.
They didn't have that, I mean, I don't know. We couldn't find any records whenever we built the park, if it was anything.
We didn't find any, we researched all.
Okay, so this would be just to kind of formalize it, just in case.
Everything is
Gotcha.
the case.
I make a motion we approve ordinance 857.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of voting for the title only, first reading? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, I've got to go to work.
Yes, sir. Appointment to board and commission. You have an appointment before you leave? Mr. Odom, you got an appointment before you leave?
No.
Okay, all right. Anybody got an appointment to board and commission?
I don't have an appointment, sir, but I have a comment about our boards and commission. I know I'm gonna have a report about what I'm gonna have a report about, but I do think, and I know that on a few of our committees are functioning, and that's, policy committee and finance and agenda committee. My question to say is, I really would like for for us to look at some of those boards that we'll have. If you look at it again, we have two boards that's non-functional, meaning that they don't even have the members on the board. So I want to say that in our policy meeting, I'll be bringing that up and making sure that all of you look at that. So by October, if it means some ordinance, 1 or 2 readings, 3 readings on that, we can change that, because there's a lot of boards, like the construction board. There's no members on that board. There's things like that we need to look at, and I'll bring it to you and have it ready for, to be put in the package so you have a chance to look at it early. But those boards, we have some inactive boards, and we really need, 2024, we need to clear a lot of things up so we can leave this year that we have accomplished something, especially with these boards and ordinance and these policies.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am. Anybody got any appointments at all? Okay, not hearing none, we move on to acceptance of bid, Marlboro County Administration Building window replacement. Mr. Clapper, Mr. West.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, council members. You have before you, I place this on your just the window project, we just opened the bids yesterday. We included a copy of the request for proposals in your packet. And let me say this, we're very pleased with the actual bid that we received. I think it's a very competitive bid. 5 years ago, we anticipated the base bid was going to be $100,000. We didn't think that we would be able to afford to even do the interior finish, which is the ultimate bid. So, I think one thing we've seen, and we're going to talk a little bit about this when we go to the next project, because we've also got some very favorable reviews for the paving project. But you can see the proposal from B&B Construction, with the bid calculation, the evaluation for the replacement for the administration building. The base bid was $83,257,000, and the alternate is $37,420, for a total of $120,683. 75% of the cost will be reimbursed through USDA, and 25% of the balance will come from the county's general obligation bond funds. The combined parking and window replacement projects are under budget. I recommend award of the window replacement project to B&B Construction and for the amount of $120,682.
This was in our capital.
Yes, this is in our capital plan.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept.
I have I want the scope of work page that we have here
Yes.
on page 30, because I noticed that page 36, I guess that the proposed project is Mr. D.T. Turney, the person that these people are going to have to contact, is that?
Yes.
And why is that?
He is because he has the expertise in terms of construction. So from a construction perspective, D.T. Turner is the contact person.
Okay. Page 37,
Yes.
clarification and amended process. August 34 is the date for that?
That was, I'm sorry, that should have been 2024. That was a typo.
Okay.
I saw that after the fact, and we had some discussion with that after we printed the proposal and posted it on the website.
Page 38,
Yes.
it says that for the award, it says awards of bid shall be to the lowest responsible bidder. Is that something we setting or y'all setting? How is that?
That is what we said in terms of, but then we also have some, clarification on that, including evaluation of experience and firm capacity. So there's three elements that went into the project. Fortunately, the low proposer was the recommendation for this project.
My reason for saying that, because we decided that not necessarily low bids is not quality. We're looking for more quality than we are for low bids. I don't want to put that out there like we're just going to be looking for the lowest bid.
Well, keep in mind, this is the lowest responsible bidder too. So obviously, when we evaluate things like experience and firm capacity, we make that determination that that party that is submitting bids is qualified to do the work. And we've had great experience, actually we've had great experience with both of the two parties that bid B&B Construction and PCI contractors. And both of those are excellent. We've had excellent experience.
I don't have any more questions.
With that, I make a motion, we approve the recommendation from staff to give the award of bid to B&B Construction for $120,683.
Second motion.
Motion made and second. Any more discussion? All in favor of accepting B&B? Unanimous? Okay. Marlboro County Administration, Building Parking Lot Project.
Yes, you have another bid, and I've included the bid opening information project at the administration building. The project scope of work includes removal of all the existing surfaces on the tiered parking on the east and west side of the building and the rear parking as well. 5 companies attended the required pre-bid conference. However, the county only received 1 bid. The parking lot project budget is $535,000. The USDA disaster relief grant provides 75% funding, with 25% coming from the county general obligation bonds. The bid from Sterling Government Paving Incorporated was $399,730, which is $135,000 less than the budget amount. Staff recommends award of the project for $399,730 to Sterling Government Paving.
How far is the parking lot you're talking about in the back?
Well, we're talking about the tiers, those tiers. The tiers on the right-hand side, there's an area where, we have a lot of, particularly trucks parked there because it's, the parking lot is kind of tight, and then all behind the administration building. And then the tiered parking along, that would be Hospital Hill with, right next to, of course, 911.
Going down the hill with the
Right down to Ballpark Street.
Okay.
So basically going from Market Street almost. I mean, there's that park, there's that kind of that area where we've got railroad ties that are sitting out front of this block.
You're talking the front side of that and then the back side?
The back side of that on down. So it's a really good sized area. Very, very pleased. We were very concerned about the cost of asphalt because one thing we continue to see is people have gone out for bids and they had an initial estimate. Then when it came back, the bids were higher than the estimate. Now, fortunately, I think what we've seen is some softening of those prices, and I'm very pleased. Mr. McDermott is here. I don't know whether you want to speak to any of the issues associated with this project. I'm really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I'm here in case any member of the council has any questions about the project.
My question is to Mr. McLeod. Being that Mr. McDermott is a candidate for an elected office, are there any ethical or any legal concerns that we need to be aware of as a council before we award this particular bid?
None that I'll be aware of at the moment.
I can answer that, because I did make contact to the election commission, because that was a concern for me, and I did, and that response came back in today, and I was concerned about that as a county member. So I did make contact to a person from the election commission. Her name is Renika Braham. And the question that I asked for was the fact that since that the bid was going to be given to a person who is a candidate for State House, will there be any legal concerns or questionable things that we need to be concerned about? And the answer was no, not at this time. So I wanted to make sure, because I didn't know whether you were going to look into that, because when we're dealing with anybody, I think we need to make sure that we are making sure that ethical concerns are met, no matter who it is, because I don't want anything where we as employees or anybody, because there are certain things that we can't do, but because this Mr. McDermott is not elected yet, that's his business. it's okay for us to consider his bid. But I really wanted to be sure, so that's why I took the time to ask.
I move we accept McDermott's bid.
Second motion. Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Thank you, Mr. West. You'll be back shortly. Policy and Ordinance Committee, Ms. Pearlie Lawson.
Okay. I'm going to just give everybody a sheet because I did before. So I'm going to just give you a sheet to look at so you can have a copy of it. I know I've given it to you. Miss, do I need to give you another sheet or you have one? You need another sheet?
Yes.
Okay, I did, but that's the same sheet. So it's the same sheet that I was given. But anyway, it was just the fact that we had our Policy and Ordinance Committee meeting. And Administrator, if you'd like one too, I have another one. But anyway, we had our meeting and we had a quorum of people present. In the minutes, we discussed, had a report from our July 16 meeting and it was received. But one of the things that we discussed as old business, for old business, we were dealing with ordinance number 5568 and ordinance number 454 and number 672. We also, during the time of April, when we first started meeting, we was in lengthy discussions with the policies and procedures. And one of those policies and procedures included as far as employees' activities such as in elections and political activities. And I just noticed that we didn't get those copies, but we spent about 2 hours in that. So I do know we asked that you look at those from other counties. I don't know whether you had the chance to have your staff look at that, but we do need to look at those revived things because we were 2 hours and a half in that meeting talking about those kinds of things. But the new business in this ordinance that's most important right now is about the ordinance number 556A, as far as the nuisance ordinance, which always has been very important for us to talk about. It will be enforced based on complaints, and we talked about that in our other meeting. As you can see, the administrator and Mr. Cheris stated that they have already put letters to property on 404 Marshall Street, 435 Oriole Lane, 103 and 104 Melrose Street, and a copy of the violation of fines that we have is $100 to $500, and any action will be taken. But anyway, as you can see through these ordinance, the burning ordinance was adopted in 2011. We didn't recommend any changes to that ordinance. We didn't recommend any changes to the nuisance ordinance. We didn't do any changes to the litter ordinance. That was ranges from $100 to $500 fee. But due to what the environmental control officer, we did ask that he be very careful because he's going to have to be sifting through trash. Ask that he be careful with that. One of the things we came up about the waste connection. We were concerned about the fact that that might be another meeting might need to take place with the ordinance number 672 relating to animal control. Mr. Sheriff made a discussion that make a recommendation that even though we know that the animal shelter is a no-kill shelter, we need to maybe look at having what we call a trap and release. And that means involving cats, spading cats and releasing them to help prevent overpopulation. So we do need to consider that. I don't know whether that needs to be put in that ordinance if we think about that, but I'll make sure that everyone get a copy of that ordinance again, because if it does, that means that particular statement will need to be put into that ordinance. Item number 5 there with the Housing and Redevelopment Authority, that right now they have 5 members. And I also let you know that that ordinance will need to be changed because it was under the Florence Authority. They are now the Marlboro County Authority. So I do know we need to revisit that ordinance. Also, it's recommended that that member move from a 5-member board to at least a 9-member board, where each of us have an opportunity to appoint a council member, with the chairperson being the 9-member board. Briefly talked about the policies and dress codes for our employees as far as their attire, and making sure that we didn't get a chance to review the policy committee, the vehicle policy, but would like very much to ask that's gonna be a part of our next policy meeting. I know Marlboro County has a vehicle policy, but we do not, this take-home vehicles, we do need to look at that. We really need to look at that in great length, because we have, according to what I've been told, 134, 127 vehicles, and we have no accountability on those vehicles, as far as to say that everybody can drive those vehicles anywhere they want to drive them, anytime they want to drive them. We're paying for the maintenance, we're paying for the gas, we're paying for everything, and we might need to be re-looking at that. So I'm going to ask that y'all ask for a copy of the policy and vehicle policy, that y'all look at it. We'll bring it to the board to vote. If we don't want to change it, that's fine. But we do need to be more conservative on how we're spending county money. Other than that, a recommendation was asked that we have some, I don't know whether ministry has a chance to look at that, but copies, people may want to volunteer. They may want to be on boards. They might want to be on commission. We do need to look at having some type format, some kind of paper trail where people can volunteer to be on those boards and commission and volunteer. This is a written report. You can have it for your information. If you have any suggestions on the vehicle policy, please talk about it. Please share it. For some reason, only 3 or 4 of us meeting, but this is an active board. I do appreciate everybody for being active on it, but we do need to make some progress this year. We've been talking about these boards and commission, but this is 21 months. We need to be really considering what we're going to do with these boards and commission, and make sure we get something done by 2024.
Okay. Any question or comment from Ms. Lawson?
I have one on ordinance 556A. I read the ordinance, and it talks about, high grass, just grass high, different stuff here and there. Multiple cars in a parking lot, on your property, but if you have multiple cars on your property, you had to have a business license. It states that in the ordinance. So we don't offer county business license. So that ordinance is 20+ years old, so if we're gonna look at these ordinances, we have to get in line with what, so if we're gonna change it, because that, we don't want somebody to say, well, Miss Lawson's grass is high, I'm gonna make a verbal complaint, she has to cut the grass. Well, if you come to my house and I have 3 vehicles and I don't have a business license, somebody don't like Jason, then what do I do? So if you wanna look at that so if you're gonna look at those, I read those personally on 556A, so once we start with this, we left that alone a while back, previous years, because of the way our ordinance was wrote, because it was open-ended. Because if you didn't like Dr. Johnson or you didn't like somebody else, you could really just, the way it's wrote, you could make a comment and somebody has to go do something about it. And so that's the reason we left that alone. So if we're gonna start with this ordinance, we really need to address it and fix it to 2024 standards, because we don't offer any business license for the county.
And just to add, in my administrative report, I'll touch on that, because I already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, that's a clarification. So that really needs to be changed, because that's 20 years old.
Correct.
Also, when we give our reports and stuff, I'm not at all comfortable with giving out in public the fines or the citations that officers have given. If we can just leave that portion out, their addresses and their, I don't think their names, but their addresses, who was fined.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I should have just given that for you to look at. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lawson. Wes?
The financials for the period ending August 31, 2024. The first 2 months of the year, revenues totaled $1,960,977 in comparison to $1,419,769 for the 2 months ending August 31, 2023. General fund expenditures through August 31 of 24 total $3,102,009 of a $14,748,543 budget, or 21.03% of budget year to date. General fund expenditures total $2,286,060 for the same 2 months ending August 31, 23. In conclusion, revenues and expenses expenditures are higher than last year. Revenues are increased because of the timing of collection of state share revenues, while expenses are significantly higher because of upfront payment for property taxes and quarterly payments. In addition, August had 3 payrolls, which increased the monthly expenditures for all departments. I anticipate September expenses will be more in line with prior year, and I'll report that on that at next month's meeting. I don't know if there's any questions or
Yeah, so, I mean, we've taken in about 500 K-bore, well, we spent about 800,000 more than we spent last time. So, you think by end of next month, we'll be able to find out, you know, and if we're way out of whack, we'll have to really start adjusting some stuff, because we're,
I think one thing was significant, not only did we have 3 payrolls, but we also incurred some FEMA expenses in general fund as well. So,
Okay.
and we had, upfront payments for insurance. So all those things added to that percentage, because at this point, you would think we'd be at 16.66%, we're at 21.03, but upfront and additional payrolls had a significant impact on the expenses.
so September will be in the first quarter, correct?
That's correct.
So we should have a pretty good, okay.
So that $8,900 or so for FEMA like that's we incurred, that's in the negative in this book. So how are we
That's
gonna,
in this book, and,
so
I
how,
know we've actually got there's probably some more expenses that we haven't charged to that account yet. Because I'm guessing that the FEMA expenses are gonna be in the range of at least $65,000.
And those are reimbursable
Which will
expenses.
be reimbursed, yes.
You
So
spend
you-
it and have, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sloan.
so with the 89 that we see here, it's gonna probably look at some more, you saying that?
Yes.
Another what? Estimate how much?
Well, we were thinking, because we've got, are you saying we've got $8,900 in that?
No, that you got a negative where we spent at least 8,000, a little over 8,000 for FEMA money.
Right. So I'm thinking we're gonna have another probably 50,000 or more in that line item.
50?
Yeah.
50,000?
Yeah, it should be about 65,000. And it could be too, part of that might be in salaries, and so we'll have to make some adjustments.
That's 50,000 more to be put in there,
50,000
right?
more, Right. We bought supplies, there were a number of things. Some of it may have even gotten charged to EMS, so I'll have to reach out to them and make sure that, it's not in there.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. So the way FEMA works is we spend it to get out of the emergency. You allocate it, you put it in one line item, then we're reimbursed for that amount. So you have to spend it to start with, then we get the grant back to pay for it to go back to zero. That's the way, so even if it was 100,000, we'd spend 100,000 out of it, then we get the grant back from FEMA to pay back to zero. So that's the way it would work with the FEMA money.
And that's guaranteed money as far as you know that we will get?
I don't see any reason why we would. There was a state of emergency that was declared by the governor, and I don't see any rationale for not being able to get reimbursed.
So we'll see that, if we get those funds, we'll see that allocated somewhere in our statement.
We will see that, yes.
Mr. Parker, I really would like for you to let the people know that you don't see a pattern of us spending just crazily, that this is expected, that this is the way it goes. Some of this stuff is the way it's billed, some of it, it's crazy. It looks like a bad number, but you need to explain that in more vivid terms so everybody can say that, hey, we're not $800,000 just out here spending crazy.
Correct. One of the things is, you look at payroll, one payroll, of course we have 26 of those during the year. And so if we've got, just say we've got about 70% of our budget in payroll, that's $10 million. divide that by 26, I mean, that's a pretty significant number.
I just wanted to make everybody clear that we're not, because we're responsible for the spending, but there's no overspending or over purchasing that you have detected, right? Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Clyburn. Oh, you done too?
He had this about this ARPA money.
Capital projects,
Okay.
I don't know if there's any questions about this, and the capital project funds are the 40, 55, 70, 72, 73, and 75. All the activity is posted there. If there's any question about any expenses, I'll just let, go ahead and address it.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. Thank you, because in the Finance Committee meeting, you provided us with what we call detailed reports of expenditures such as purchase orders and all those kinds of things. And I know that if a regular person would have requested that to see those things, there could have been some fee incurred for things like that. I know that. But when council members ask that we see those things as a committee, not me Pearlie Lawson asked, but as a committee, that we see those things, because we do need to know what kind of funds are in these accounts and how these things are being spent. I hope that the staff will understand that is not a request from a FOIA request from someone else. That is an action that this council is asking that y'all provide for us, because our people want us to be able to be transparent. So we have no other choice but to ask the administration to be transparent. With that being said, I want to say that we talked about something in our next meeting, so I hope things will go well for that, because there should be a way that we should have software to condense some of that paperwork. I don't feel like we need to cut down 10 or 20 trees just to get some information. So I hope that if we don't have the software for some of these things, monthly we'll be provided this, and it won't be a whole package of material that you got to go through and look through and get dismayed about because it's too much. But there's a way, and I don't know how many people in your staff right now, but I hope that we can find software to make this process smoother.
We'll be glad to provide you with copies of things. We've done everything through the end of July, so in next month we can just go ahead and provide the August and September expenditures. And that'll be a much smaller grouping.
Is there any way, she's right, is there any way that you can condense that and put it on a spreadsheet? Because the way you presented it, you gave us a stack of about 10,000 pages.
2 reams of paper.
And that's, I don't know whether that was done to intimidate us or to whatever, but it was not appreciated. Let me finish. It was not appreciated the way that was done at all. So in the future, when those reports are that large, it seems like there should be a way to put it on a spreadsheet. We're in 2024.
One thing we could do is we could scan those documents, and then, it would be in a PDF, and we could email it, but that would be, unless you're actually viewing it from your computer at home, that would be the only way that you can actually see the actual documents. Because I think what the discussion was, wanting to see a copy of the check, a copy of the purchase order, and a copy of the invoice. And all those items, there are only 4 pages for each one of those payments. So
With a $14 million budget, looking at everything, you will have a stack of paper.
you will.
Yeah, no matter what you do, you'll have a stack of paper. If you look at every check item ledger on a $14 million budget, yeah, it's going to be thick.
So if we had a $50,000 budget, so we could have looked at 4 reams of paper then, because that was
It would
about
have
2
been-
reams of
it would have been
paper.
smaller.
That's too much paper to waste.
Mr. Clyburn.
Yeah, before I give my report, I want to call our Director of Operations. He wants to give a report on trash and burning and that kind of thing.
Good afternoon, members of council and citizens. We've been called quite a bit about community sites. And so we provided documents on that table beside, you guys, paperwork from today's meeting that gives you a listing of all of our convenient sites, what times and days those are open. Also, we were asked last month about where the tree limbs and debris and that kind of thing go. Our county does not have a site designated for that. However, there is a private company in our county, Duffy & Sons Composing Center, that's open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Location, Industrial Park on Roger Lane Road, Bennettsville. There's a contact number, 2 contact numbers listed here, as well as a contract-only fee. As you know, this contract-only fee is $45 a ton. I would assume that this contracting fee is for businesses and things of that nature, so we don't have what the individual cost would be for each citizen that may take tree limbs and such to them. But you can call these numbers that are listed here and find out what that price is if you guys are interested in taking the tree limbs.
Mr. Campbell, can you go ahead and give the number for the people in TV land?
The number to go, sure, I definitely can. So there's 2 numbers. The first one is 843-454-9393. The second number is 843-454-1751. And this is with Duffy & Son Composing Center.
Real quick for me, 2 weeks ago, I went to the Wallace Convenience Center, and we had done a house clean, picture frames, whatnots, all kind of stuff. Only way we could put them was in bags. And so when I got to the convenience center, I was told I couldn't bring any bags. So I was a council member, and so I got there, and on the front of the thing it says no plastic bags. Well, whenever that was posted, that was not relayed to me as a council member. So whoever initiated that or whatever it was, at least we asked to send something out to a council member. So if somebody calls me and says what happened, so we had to take everything out of the bags, put it in the container. I didn't put any plastic bags in there. So I didn't violate. But whenever we done that, that was the thing as a council member pulling up first thing in the morning is I had to take everything out of the bag and dump it in the container. I didn't carry any household trash, but that was what was said. It said it was passed down, and so I told him, I said I didn't know, so I know nobody else behind me would know. And so, but we did. I took everything out, picture frames, whatnot, so we poured it in the container. So if something's been done, we need to get some clear communication out to at least council members and somehow or another, because I was not aware of that.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Stevens. To my knowledge, we have made no changes from our side. I think that my assumption would be that they asked for no plastic bags because that's the only way that they can differentiate between whether or not you are dispersing household trash versus the items that are supposed to be there. As you're aware, we are contracted privately with the company for household trash, and everybody's provided to the dumpster. And so they would have no way to really tell which trash you're dumping if it's in trash bags that would normally be used in your house.
Yeah, but that's the only way I had to track. Whenever I cleaned out the house, that's the way. So if we could look at that, find out what we can do to at least find out
alternative.
Yeah, an alternative. That's what
Sure, I will have that conversation with Mr. Covington, who oversees those sites, and see if we can come up with some sort of alternative and bring that back to the council, our next council meeting. Also, Chairman, if you don't mind, I would also like to ask the citizens to work with us and the staff at these convenience centers. We do our best to keep Marlboro County clean, and it is very difficult when the citizens of the county go to these trash sites on days that they're closed and just dump trash there. That is illegal dumping, and we will be writing tickets and fines for that. So I thought we would definitely give a verbal warning to those citizens who may be watching or present about that, because we've had an astronomical amount of living room chairs, kitchen tables, and things of that nature. Just yesterday at the McCall site, someone dumped a whole tractor-trailer load of furniture at the gate of that property. We're in the process of putting a new camera system at all of our trash sites, and we will be writing citations for this because we want to keep it clean, and our staff is there to definitely work and to serve you all, but we want to do it in the right manner. All right, thank you.
Mr. Campbell, I just heard you say you're gonna be putting cameras. With this littering law that we have where people are stopping, let's just use the area behind McDonald's. Can cameras be put on any of those signs out there? Because I know the Project Perimeter Littering program says that cameras can be put in some of those areas?
Yes, I was actually at that conference last week with Marlboro Pride, and one of the things that they do provide, if you are awarded the grant, are deer cameras. But these cameras that we're talking about on the property we own won't be deer cameras. We want to be able to fast forward, rewind, get license plates, write citations, and even if it costs you to be locked up, if it's habitual, we want to do that. Because our job is to keep it clean, and that's what we're going to do as the council director supervisor.
I like what you're saying, but I'm just asking too, that you sound like you're gonna be hard out on these people who dumping on the county property. But I'm asking, is it a way that, what you said that you attended that Palmetto Pride?
So the answer to your question was yes. There is a way, and when you are awarded the grant, they'll give you money to purchase deer cameras, but we also still have to be careful and mindful that we're putting cameras on properties that we own. We can't just go and stack cameras on people's property without their permission. So we would have to look and assess the areas that you're asking about and see if we own property there or else ask for permission to put cameras there.
I do have a question about the garbage pickup and related. It was not picked up again today on Ella Street, that area of town. What's going on with our contract with the garbage people? Because they're very inadequate. And also, before you answer that, twofold question: what is the solution for me to have my browns picked up from the county? What day will it not cost me money to have my couch beside the road and you guys pick it up? Citizens need to know they can't come every time with just paying out funds. We need to pick that up.
So to answer your question twofold, the first question was about the contracts for services we have. We have received a number of complaints, and we have reached out to the company that we're contracted with and asked them to relay the message to our office, letting us know if there's an issue, when the truck broke down. We understand things happen, but if they keep an open line of communication with us, we make it our business to prioritize communicating with the citizens of our county, letting them know when we know. Also, let's make it clear that the county does not pick up the trash. It's a contract company. And so a lot of times we don't know unless we're notified. When we are, we definitely reach out to them.
I just want to add, we've talked about the contract with that company, and that needs to be revisited, because
That was
part of that
our meeting.
contract is that they do it adequately. And I think everyone who, especially down in Blenheim, where it always gets missed, it's not going to happen. And then out of your area and out the North Wall, it just gets missed a lot. So yeah, we're going to look at that contract and see if it has been, they default on that contract, because we may, this is a council decision, we may have to pay a little bit more for a different company, but I think a little bit more, even in our tight budget situation, a little bit more will do the citizens a lot of justice if they know that trash will be picked up reliably. So we're going to be looking at that, and I'll bring that to council very soon about that contract. I just got to get some more research done on the legality of has it defaulted or not.
We talked about in committee about sites.
We did.
We used to have sites, and maybe you all can tell us.
That
you all
company's
can
not,
tell
they
us.
don't provide those. I asked about that. They don't provide that.
Yeah, we used to have the dumpsters beside the road and all that. What happened to that?
State law prohibited, said you can't have an unmanned dumpster within the, the state law prohibits from having dumpsters beside the road anymore.
It has to be from a certain distance, right?
It has to be, I think from where, it has to be a manned site or either a household pickup. It has to be a manned site. So those dumpsters were unmanned dumpsters. I could stand correct, but I think it has to be a manned site, with the dumpsters beside the road. So, the thing is, it's up to our citizens to help keep Marlboro County clean and green too. We can do all we can, take up all the money we can. We pushed it so every house would have a trash can, and so you can still go by and you can pick up trash. The state did an initiative to pick up trash on every road in the county. I know 2 times this year every piece of trash was picked up in our county through the state initiative before they cut grass. So, but if you go around right now in our county, all of them cannot be outside people. So our citizens have to take care of what we have. So
I agree with that, Councilman Steen, but like right now, the garbage people have missed, this is the second week in the area that I was just, so now you've got a full trash can and they will not pick up your plastic bags. If you put them beside the trash can,
Correct.
you only get one, and they will not pick those bags up if you set them aside. So now you're going 2-3 weeks without any garbage service. What is the alternative that we have for the citizens?
We need to get the garbage company back to the table. We met with them one time, so we need to get them back at the table and say, they told us they had a camera could pick to tell whether or not they picked up trash or not. If they didn't pick up trash, then it can't be a burden to the citizen. If you stack it up, I mean, it's based on 52 weeks a year. So if you miss a week, then we got to get them back to the table.
Right.
You know, we can't create a problem, you know, from another problem. Let's fix the problem that we have, which is the trash company, whatever they got to do to fix that problem.
Absolutely. So, you know, all we do is enforce the contract that you guys have signed off on. And so once you revisit that, then we can definitely make sure that it's enforced. The second question that you had, Councilman, was about the tree limbs. Again, that's a portion of negotiating the contract. Unfortunately, we don't have that in the contract.
We don't give brown service, right?
No, we don't, because it's not in the contract, and we unfortunately don't have the manpower to go around and get all of those limbs and things up. So it's unfortunate, but right now, all we have is what was presented tonight.
But ordinance number 684, as far as outdoor burning, does allow burning of leaves, trees, yard trimming, and all of that. It does. It's just that they have to make a call to 800-705-8615 to be sure that they're not going to be charged. But we do. People can burn in the county.
Absolutely. We never said anyone couldn't burn. You just need to make sure you follow the necessary procedures. All I'm saying is that we're not in a position to go around to each house and pick up tree limbs and things. Now, if you burn, that's discretionary. As long as you follow the proper protocol and procedures that are in place, we're absolutely fine with that.
If I'm not mistaken, that was an emergency in the committee that we're talking. The committee that met. It was in an emergency situation like a hurricane or whatever, and all these limbs and sometimes trees would fall and you got them cut. Do we pick that up? Do we provide a service in an emergency situation? Not as just
Oh, absolutely. During the emergency, during the state of emergency, we can get that stuff. If it's from the actual storm event, we can get that.
Right, okay.
But, you know, we just want to make sure that people understand just during that time, it's not anything that we can do habitually.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chair.
I did have a few things I want to go over really quickly. First of all, recreation in January, it went great as reported, so I don't want to get further into that. But I do want to mention that, as I discussed earlier, we will be moving that department into the old voter registration building. And we will have signs saying, at the library in the back, saying what that is. We'll have signs there stating what the voter registration is. We're going to make that very clear. We're going to advertise all those rules in the newspaper, social media, everywhere. We're going to make sure that people know what those things are. And that moves to the voter registration building. But I want to, when we talk about that, if the move was a success, and we're going to still do some things to make sure that that is comfortable for them. We're going to look at that front area, make sure that watching area where they watch the results, we're going to tighten up that a little bit. But that is, we're very proud of that. We're going to do some signage as well, and as far as the handicap access, so we're going to get that taken care of very shortly here. I want to talk about the nuisance ordinance, and I was already going to talk about this. We're continuing to enforce it, but again, only the most extreme cases. Okay, abandoned properties that you have trees, stuff growing out of the house, and you can't even see the house behind the growth. Dangerous conditions. You have animals, possum, all kind of things in and out of them. Those are things that we're worried about right now. The most extreme cases. We're not going to be monitoring beautification of people's properties. Okay. We're not going to be monitoring if the grass is this high or this high. I know that people move into a neighborhood and we want the neighborhood to remain beautiful if they keep their grass up, but we don't have the manpower or the authority to monitor someone's, if they trim the hedges, enough. Only extreme cases can we monitor and we can do something about. People have property rights and we can't make somebody beautify their property, although we would like to. Hilton Head has those kind of laws, but we don't have those kind of things, and we can't do it. Now, I do want to announce, as of right now, we are spraying mosquitoes, okay? That mosquito my knowledge, there's no record of the past 30 years of us even having a mosquito program. I don't know if it's ever been here, but I haven't seen the record of it. It takes some time. I know that we had some citizens that were concerned right after the storm about us spraying. But you know, all the mosquito companies were taken up, they were occupied, and this mosquito problem is not a Marlboro County problem. It's not a South Carolina problem. This is all across the Southeast and other parts of the country where it's across the board that we just have had a bad year with mosquitoes nationwide. Please be patient with us. We are doing that. Something that hadn't been here in 30 years, it took us 3 weeks, we put it together, and we have the spraying going on. But I want to make sure that people who own beehives, we've sent out through that code red something about the beehives and let us know. We get a number, and we got quite a few calls, so we marked those areas we cannot spray within a mile of those beehives. And people who live near those, it's just unfortunate, but we can't spray in those areas, okay? Now, that number, if you do have a beehive, is 843-703-2112, 2112. Once again, it's 843-703-2112. And we do have some beehives out. I know we have some out going toward McCall and going out towards Lebanon, but there are others. And we just need to know where they are so that we don't, spray in those areas. We're very careful about that. And the last thing about that, spraying will not kill every mosquito. I mean, it's not going to kill everything. It's going to kill a good bit of them. We're going to do the best we can. And we can't, we're not going to speed down the road going 60 miles an hour, so it's just like somebody smoking a cigarette out there. It's going to be a good spray, but again, it's not going to kill every mosquito, and just want everyone to be patient about that. The city of Bentonville, to my knowledge, is also spraying, so we're not going to spray those areas. We're spraying outside the city of Bentonville and then the rest of Marlboro County. I don't have a complete schedule yet. I do have some of the areas we sprayed. I don't have that yet because we're still compiling some of the areas that have beehives, and we have to work around that. So that program is up and going, and we're going to do the best we can with that. Just be patient with us. The last thing, unfortunately, right now we do not have access for animals to be dropped off at the Humane Society at the shelter, but we'll be getting some room very shortly. We're doing the best we can, but as a county, we pick up animals that are called, but we have to take it to the Humane Society structure, and they're not accepting animals because of an outbreak or because of capacity. We don't have anywhere to take it. So sometimes we've had people calling, and we just have not had a way to pick up some of these animals. And it's an unfortunate truth, but we're trying to work on that right now in a lot of ways, increase capacity and other things to make sure that we can collect those animals. Any questions?
So ordinance number 672, where we do not have in our ordinance as far as a release, trap to release, could that be considered as an option for us then?
Absolutely, and that's something that, I want to bring before council. One of the things I was waiting on was a meeting with executive committee, one of the other committee members with the Humane Society to discuss some of these things. And then we need to move fast on that because, with that trap and release program, it doesn't spray the cats whenever they spray cats whenever they're caught, and then they're released. And once they're released, it just keeps them from repopulating. But that does make room for more dogs, because there's a huge amount of cats in the shelter as well. But implementing that program would make some room there as well for that.
So, question then, should we consider that as an option?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That would be.
And it wasn't on this agenda, but trust me, it'll be on October agenda. To consider that program for the county.
That's the stray cats, right?
Yes. Any other questions?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Did y'all provide us with a number as far as when you said it's going to be spraying? Is that, I thought I said it was a code number people are going to be able to call, or it's going to be something alerted to the community?
Yeah, I
How
get
is that?
the number as far as
When the area that you were spraying, I thought I heard you say there would be an alert sent out.
Yes, the alert was sent out on the code red system that we have in emergency management.
So how would you get that? I mean, who would get that? How would people get that alert?
You want to just information about that? 'Cause I'm not exactly
Would it be
code red.
coming
I
on
got
the
it. I
phone?
don't know how I got it, but I got
Would
it.
it come up?
I got it too.
Can you-
I didn't sign up.
I didn't get it, but can you tell us what it come, just in case somebody wanna know, that's all I wanna know.
That code red comes through emergency management, Mr. Calvin Cassidy. He is kind of in charge of that. He sends out the code red. So if in fact you're not getting it, I will get a contact number and we'll put it on the marquee as well as send you guys an email or whatever. I'm not 100% familiar with how that works. He did it for me. Oh, yesterday I got it. Oh, he's right here. I'm sure. Can you explain that?
So to put it real briefly, all of the 911 connected phones in our area, so that does not account for wireless phones unless they're signed up as a subscription service. So basically, if you didn't receive the coverage and you want coverage, there's a number you can text from my phone and it will sign you.
So having that on the marquee, like you suggested, would be a good idea. So not only for me, but for anybody in the community to get that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Keeping it on that marquee instead of flashing.
Yeah, we'll keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Recognize the council members, Dr. Steve, let's go with you on this then.
I just want to thank everybody for us getting some stuff done, and I just want to thank the sheriff for joining us here. Good to see you. Good to see you, and I'm glad to see you back with us. I just want you to know that, and I know you've had it tough lately, but we here for you, okay?
Dr. Johnson?
To piggyback on Councilman Blackman, good to see Sheriff Lemon back here. Good to see citizens coming and being able to voice their opinions. Thank you to our election commission. We know that, we can't pay y'all for the work that you all do. And we thank you all because the electoral process is very important. And so, we're glad we got y'all a new old building that has enough room for you all to operate. And we're looking forward to coming to the soft opening and supporting you in any way that we can. I want to take this time to thank Senator Gerald Malloy and the work that he has done in Marlboro County over the last couple of months. There has been a lot of meetings, a lot of with top officials, and coordinating with our city and our county. We can't do this process of governing without collaboration. And the work that has been put in over the last couple of weeks, on last Friday we met with top DOT officials to really address the flooding issue that we have in our county with the Richardson Park and Shady Rest areas and some other areas in our county. We toured the entire county on last Friday, and we appreciate for those DOT officials taking time out of their schedule to listen to the concerns, but also to offer some concrete plans that they're willing to engage in to help. We can't continue to play the blame game that we've been playing for the last 30, 40, 50 years. We can't continue to point the finger in our citizens and continue to suffer. We're connected, we're organized, and I think we're gonna have some really fixes to some of the issues that have been plaguing our community for such a long time because of the collaboration and because of the connections that we have. Glad to see our rec programs is back in full effect, looking at those kids' faces and seeing them run out there on the field and seeing the little cheerleaders, out there, they're back and they're engaged within our county. We've lost a lot over the last, 5 or 6 years with our rec program, but we're on the track of really reclaiming, some of those kids and getting them to a position where they have, pro-social recreation and mentors and coaches and all of those things that rec, provide, not just a ball to run up and down the field, but that community collaboration, that mentorship, that coaching, that helps them to the next level. So we're proud of some of the things that are going on in Marlboro County. We're looking forward to greater.
Right. I just want to thank Sheriff Lemon for being back with us. I know you've been through a lot. Christian, with the election commission, kind of piggyback, I know y'all happy to be in the big building, and you know everybody won't be over everybody's shoulder, I guess, whenever it's time to see who's winning the election. So the other thing is, you know, OY Road's coming along real well. If you hadn't been by there, the bridge is in, the approaches are in, the road's moved up. I mean, so hopefully it won't be but a few more months, and we'll be able to drive across it. I mean, you know, so hopefully that'll be a big thing for saving money for people going back and forth to work and school, and emergency personnel and all going all the way around. And so for Mr. Stroman, I know he was big instrumental in the rodeo thing last year. There's another one next weekend. Same company to put one of ours on in Chesterfield, South Carolina. And so same guy, same company, same rodeo stuff. So, you know, if you want something to do, I know Mr. Stroman's big on the rodeo thing. So he was instrumental in that. So I wanted to let him know there was one close by. So just let everybody know that's something to do next weekend.
If I could piggyback on one thing, OY Road is weeks instead of months from opening based on DOT official. Academy Road would be opening early, mid-fall. The work is actively going on. So those two roads which has been a sore for Marlboro County for the last, 10 years almost. Those roads are being fixed, and DOT officials have guaranteed that those roads will be open real soon.
First of all, the Election Commission, thank you guys for all the work you do. You know, we appreciate you. We can't feel it, and we hope that you enjoy your new site and anything that we can do just to know. Sheriff Lemon, yes, sir. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. Like I say, sometimes you have to just stand back and let the Lord do his work, you know. So, welcome back. I'm looking forward to just talking with you, chatting with you, get some things done. I'd like to say thank you to the staff that you all are working hard and getting things done, accomplishing things. Appreciate finally the paperwork that we needed to get this thing moving with the pool and everything. And lastly, I'd like to piggyback off of Dr. Johnson, Councilman Johnson, and say thank you to Senator Gerald Malloy. He has really, since the flood and before, really showed up in Marlboro County. He has really been here for the citizens of Marlboro County. He has been twisting the arms of state officials, making things happen where we've never had that type of influence with the state officials and doing things like that. We've never had that. And it is a beautiful sight to see. So, Senator Malloy, we really appreciate the work that you've done with Marlboro County. Yes.
Ms. Lawson.
I want to say congratulations, Sheriff Lemon, for being able to be with us as in your position as sheriff. So congratulations to you and to all the members who attended, and I'm very happy that the Smithsonian is coming our way and that the Election Commission Board and their members are going to be adequately staffed and things are going to go well. And we hope that security will be something too that we make sure that the county realize, even though it may be happening in larger areas, but we need to think about election night here in Marlboro County to be sure that the voters, the workers are safe, all those kinds of things, because we really would like safety, and I think safety should be a big concern. I also want to thank everybody for what we've done today, but I would like very much to ask that the council really look at again, making sure that we review those ordinances, make sure that we really do, y'all review them and send the information to us, because that's going to be important for us to really put some meat, clean up this 2024 by putting something in place. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, and just hope that every time that when we meet, we have accomplished something. So when 2024 ends, that we can say that these are some things in a checkoff box that we've done, and look at some strategic planning and some goal setting for this whole council. Thank you.
Welcome back, Sheriff Lemon.
Thank you.
And she left, but I wanted to commend Lynn McQueen for the hard work she put into bringing the Smithsonian exhibit here. I'm very excited about the Smithsonian exhibit, and so I just want to commend that staff on that.
Before I say anything, Mr. Lemon.
Yes, sir.
You have the floor, sir.
Oh, okay.
Give us a couple minutes of your wisdom. Mighty fine, mighty fine. I know many of the council got something about the opioid, funding. Have you heard anything about the opioid, the grants, Mr. Lemon? Okay, anyway, I sent everyone, a copy, so read over that. It's something that, we need to take, heed to along with, the sheriff department. And Mr. Lemon, like everybody said, that we echoed, you're welcome back, and we're here to work with you, you know, where we need to get done, and you had talked to Mr. Clyburn, and y'all met already, I know. So, you know, we on board, because we still need to keep everybody safe, especially in November when the election come out. We make sure to have some police officers there, so our lady can be safe, in that area there. Claudia had a groundbreaking ceremony for the playground equipment with the $75,000 that were given out. Unfortunately, I was at another meeting that I could not get out of, but Mr. Clyburn and Ms. Lawson were there, and we'd like to welcome Mr. Clyburn to the CLTN family. He had moved into Clio, South Carolina, so Clio, they get bigger and stronger, boy. We get bigger and stronger, CLTN. But anyway, we been a good meeting today. Do we need to go into executive session?
Okay, so in the interest of clarity, and we do need executive session, and that is only going to be for contractual matters dealing with economic development and dealing with employee contract.
Okay.
So I do need to specify that.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Mr. Chairman, I make the move that we go into executive session.
can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we can come out of executive session, we're gonna adjourn our meeting, so if y'all need to stay around. We go by. Gotta go watch the debate.
Get it in, get them now.
Get it in. I go eat.
See, I got the truck there.
I told y'all.
Went to the website, like, job postings.
I mean, y'all gotta tell me when, or tell me what you want on there, and then I just put it on there.
Oh, wow. Well, I can send it tomorrow.
Okay.
So look at like, hey,
Oh. Right.
I didn't believe it. So, okay. And I got application. Got it wrong. Not really that. But I did scan it, send it to first. While we were here. I didn't go there.
sir.
I make a motion when we come out of executive session.
Second. Motion is second. Nothing we'll discuss?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, show of hands. This meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all for coming out.